It isn't weakness. It's not even lack of discipline. But a lot of times we have nervous systems that are highly sensitive. And so when we start to do something new, when we start a new pattern, when we start a new behavior, we literally shut down. We shut down because we don't feel safe. And our body isn't meant to excel. Our body is meant to keep us safe. So if you've noticed, every time you start something new, that you start to feel this pull of resistance, maybe this fear, that's essentially your nervous system telling you, I don't know this yet.
Hello to you, our Fitness Doctor audience members and our VIP family. We are going to make this an absolutely awesome session. And as Patricia said, this isn't about us, this is about you. This is about helping you transform your mindset, your way that you think about your body, your health, your life, your functionality, so many crucial things. And, you know, the most important thing to share with you is that I've been at this for about over 30 years. In the last 17 years, I've been heavily focused on only working with people over the age of 50, primarily in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. I can happily say I've literally helped tens of thousands, and that's not a cliche, tens of thousands of people transform their mind, their body, their functionality, their physiology, the way that they get to experience this world, this life, their family, and all the things that are most important to them, to you. And we think about all the research and development, the doctors that I have on my team, and like literally we did a 5-year research study. We looked at over 1 million people. We've helped tens of thousands. And in all that work, here's what I would say for you. The number one thing that's jumped out at me more than anything else is not genetics that'll make the difference for you. It's not if you stay fit your whole life that'll make the biggest difference for you. It's not having an excellent orthopedist or chiropractor or even physical therapist. It's simply this: the way you think about yourself, your life, your functionality, the way you relate to health actions, the way you think about your being. And the thoughts you have and emotions you connect with, well, those thoughts will have more to do with your physical health and the quality of your life than anything else. It's really interesting because I have firsthand look at literally thousands of VIPs that come through our system. And it's amazing to me that the mind is always the biggest, largest, most impactful thing that can possibly happen to an individual in terms of the thing that if optimized, gets the best results overall. So let me give you a little quick history before we get into today's show. So I have many, many years and literally thousands of hours of development into biomechanics and optimizing your neuro biomechanics. And the deeper we've got into this work, the more it's spoken volumes and jumped off, the data's jumped out at me saying, hey, we got to dig deeper into the mind, awareness, mindset, sensory perception with self. This is what we call filter 1 work. I won't get into all of our systems, but there's 3 filters that we go through with our VIPs. And filter 1 is really becoming comfortable and connected with yourself and feeling good with your body and the way you think about self and all these things. It makes the biggest difference. And so what we've done is we've now started to bring on a psychology, mind, energy, and emotion aspects to what we do. And this special session is really the groundbreaking session, first session where we begin to dip our toe into the water with both our Fitness Doctor audience. So those of you who have subscribed to our email list, have been to maybe a Full Body Fix or other show with us, and also our extremely honored, extremely cherished VIPs. These are individuals who have chosen to take like, hey, I really want to transform and I want to do this with you. Those are our VIPs. So we have both and we value both. But our VIPs, of course, those are who we help on a daily and weekly basis. So in this show, please, VIPs, any questions that you have, please write those questions down at the end of today's show. We will be going to you specifically for questions. And also throughout today's show, you'll have a special opportunity if you'd like to schedule a consultation and you're not a VIP and you'd like to learn more about that. We'll give you special opportunities coming up. And before we go further, let me bring on our very special expert that's going to help me lead the charge on the mind, energy, and emotions aspects of which we do and the many new developments and how it's going to benefit you personally. This lovely, amazing lady, she has her bachelor's in psychology, her master's in mental health, her doctorate in counseling. She's a spiritually centered licensed psychotherapist that helps achievement-minded people over 50, that's you, live in full alignment with the best versions of themselves. She's a specialist in bioenergetics. And so that means how your mind affects the quality of your life, your energy, and the health of your body. She's an elite specialist in this. And now for some personal comments about Dr. Maritza before I bring her to the Zoom stage with me. I've met her at a business mastermind event that we're both involved in. And we've got some really deep discussions about helping people transform their mind, body, and life. And I was blown away at the level of results she's had with many people. And when you really talk to someone deeply, you start to ask them a lot of key questions, and you have a deep knowledge yourself in a subject, you find out very quickly what that person really knows and is able to do. Well, Dr. Maritza truly jumped out at me as a wonderful human being and a highly capable human being to help you transform. So please help me welcome to the Zoom stage with me, Dr. Maritza. Hello, Dr. Maritza.
Hello. Thank you so much, Ravi and Patricia. And thank you all. I heard so much about this community and I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you for showing up today for you.
And let's ask, we would love to find out some key information from you before we get started. I would love for you to click on the chat and share with us, what's the biggest reason you showed up today? What are you hoping to gain today? If you would please write that in the chat. We're going to give you just a couple moments and then we'll get started into the meat of what we have to share with you today. So bottom of the Zoom screen, click the chat button and just simply share with us, why are you here? What's the biggest reason that you wanted to join this session today? And we are looking at your answers coming in through the chat here. The psychological, emotional fitness. I feel tired all the time, overworked, want to feel confident about my physical abilities, learn more about the mind, body, spirit connections. Amazing. Karen, good to see you. All right. So you can see all the comments in the chat. We have a lot of material to get through today, so we don't want to delay. I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Maritza, to get us started.
Awesome. So again, thank you for having me and thank you for taking the time to type in the chat. I saw some in there saying that the mind is part of the biggest puzzle, and it is because it's the part of fitness, it's the part of health, it's the part of life that really gets overlooked a lot. And when we think of resistance, a lot of people want to quit right away, right? Oh, I'm resistant, or I'm having this pain, or something's happening. And it's because we really skip the mind as the first step. So that's one of the things that we're doing here is we're taking the first step to educate you and teach you about how important, how imperative it is with the mindset, because resistance isn't laziness. And a lot of people will start to think, oh my gosh, I'm resistant, so I'm just lazy. Or we call other people lazy who maybe aren't fitting our ideals. And it isn't weakness. It's not even lack of discipline, but a lot of times we have nervous systems that are highly sensitive. And so when we start to do something new, when we start a new pattern, when we start a new behavior, we literally shut down. We shut down because we don't feel safe. And our body isn't meant to excel. Our body is meant to keep us safe. So if you've noticed, every time you start something new, that you start to feel this pull of resistance, maybe this fear, that's essentially your nervous system telling you, I don't know this yet. I don't know this yet. So it is easier to be safe, better to be safe than sorry. I'm sure you've heard that saying before, right? Better to be safe than sorry. So when you hear that, that is an internal hypnotic phrase that you're telling yourself. So you're literally hypnotizing yourself to believe these things to be true. So, and here's the thing, your nervous system, it doesn't even know the difference between safe and familiar. So when you're trying to make this change, even a good one, like you've signed up for a program, you're starting a new nutrition plan, and you know it's something you should be doing, because it's unfamiliar, it's just going to shut down. So this is why you may feel like you're fighting with yourself to try and make these changes, to change these old habits, and you keep giving up. Or maybe you give up before you even start. And I will say a lot of that has to do with is because we didn't train this first, right? When you're in the gym and you're training your bicep or you're training your tricep or you're training your fitness on the treadmill, what makes the difference between going 20 minutes and 30 minutes? Are you really in pain, or is it your mind that gives up first? Because the mind is where it is all happening first. And then your body is going to follow. So I've lived this, right? And when I had my first experience with this, I had always been into the gym and I always loved the gym. In fact, that's what, really attracted me to Robbie and Patricia to begin with, is because, here are these fit, beautiful people having this amazing community of people that they're working with. And I admired that because even before I was a therapist, I was a personal trainer. So I always had this drive for fitness. And I learned after an accident where I was in a car accident, I learned having a injury, how imperative mindset can be, because I ended up having to get 4 metal plates put in my neck. I had to be put on bed rest. And if you've ever had an injury, if you've ever had something that has pulled you away from your norm, maybe it was having a baby, maybe it's getting older, maybe it was an injury, something that pulled you outside of it, you know what I'm talking about. Or maybe it was just you weren't training your mindset. So, but anytime I pushed forward, my body would shut down. So I went to physical therapy, I did all these things, but I had in my mind what everyone else was telling me. Oh, you're never going to be the same again. Oh, you're just getting older. Oh, things are just going to be different now. So now, again, remember what I told you earlier about those hypnotic phrases that are being said. Now, these are coming from people that I love. These are coming from my parents. These are coming from my doctors. These are coming from my friends. So now I'm hearing all these things. You're hearing these things of people shutting down. Yes, Robbie.
I would be really curious, by a show of hands. So if you have your camera on, by a show of hands, who's been told things like Maritza just shared? Like a doctor's told, well, you're just getting older. Well, you're going to have this knee. Well, you're just going to have that. Like you're just going to have to succumb to that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's wow. And so not only does it come from within, it comes from our environment so heavily. Back to you, Maritza, but it was so profound to see how many hands are raised on this question.
And I love seeing it and I hate seeing it at the same time. I love seeing it because it shows that like you're here for the right reasons, because you've already been pre-programmed to fail, right? Which hurts my heart because people have programmed you to fail because they've told you things that maybe have already started shutting down your nervous system before you even get started. So you are in the right spot. If you've heard that before, you are 1000% in the right spot, because you can go to the physical therapy, you can go to the massage therapy, the chiropractic, and all of those things, and that's healing the body. But now we need to heal the mind from that negative thoughts, those negative hypnotic phrases that have been given to us that we didn't even ask for, and start to think to ourselves of how we've then repeated them. And a lot of us will repeat them to ourselves, or we'll talk about the injury. So I purposely, interestingly enough, don't really talk about my injury, right? Unless somebody sees my scar. But I purposely don't talk about it because I don't want it to be my story. because that's not where I want to lock in my identity. And we're going to talk about identity, and we're going to talk about towards and away motivation. And I'm going to further break those principles down, because when we're linking in an identity to something that's negative or something that's holding us back or something that's away motivated, then what happens is that further, like puts the notch in. Yep, that's right. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm claiming it, right? Yeah, I see someone say, I'm claiming it. I'm claiming the disease, or I'm claiming weakness, 1000%. And so it's not that I was doing a marathon the next day, but I recognized and I asked myself when I was going through my training process, as you do, is this mental pain and fatigue, or is it physical pain and fatigue? And the thing is that you won't know if you don't know what each of them are, right? Most of us know when we stub our toe that our toe hurts because we stubbed our toe. But most of us don't recognize why we're not motivated to work out that day. And we'll talk about motivation, because motivation is fleeting, right? Like, I'm not always motivated to do the things that I need to do. That's why we'll talk about how to stay consistent as opposed to motivated. So when I changed my story, my nervous system stopped resisting me. I no longer told people about that. And I no longer said things like, oh yeah, well, it's just going to be different now, or I'm not as strong as I used to be, or my shoulder, oh yeah, I tore my rotator cuff, or I had this, or I had that. So that's when the healing began for me, right? And that's where it's going to start for you too, is in the mind. So when we're talking about motivation that I just briefly brought up, it's where a lot of us get caught up and we slip into away motivation. So many of you may have found this program because you were away motivated. So if I were to ask you, why did you join this program, or what made you come here today? And we're looking at some of these answers. Some people will say, well, I initially joined because I didn't want to be in pain. You might say, I didn't want to lose my independence. Or you might say, I didn't want to be weak. And the problem is that your subconscious mind, so when we're talking about conscious mind is surface, right? So that's what we're doing. We're having a conscious conversation right now. So I talk about the conscious mind as being the goal setter. Like, that's where I'm setting my goals, is in my conscious mind. But my subconscious mind is all that hypnotic programming that's happened far before that. So that's your subconscious mind. So goal setter, conscious mind; goal getter, subconscious mind. So my goal setter might say, well, consciously, I don't want to be overweight, right? Like, I don't want to be overweight. So I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to join this program because I don't want to carry this physical weight around anymore. Okay, cool. So now I start going to the gym, you join a program, you start doing all those things of somebody who wants to lose weight would do. Here's the problem. Your subconscious mind is rooted in your identity. So your identity in your subconscious mind is somebody who is overweight. So now you're going to the gym, right? You're going to the gym, you joined a program, you're working out, you're feeling good. But then your subconscious mind starts to go, but overweight people don't go to the gym. Unhealthy people don't go to the gym. You're too old for this. Get a grip. You think you're going to make a difference now? Too little, too late, right? It's that whisper, that unhealthy whisper that we may not even hear. We might just get a glimmer of it, but it shifts everything because it's underneath the surface. So now we're going to the gym and we're doing it, but now it feels forced. And it feels like I'm dragging. And you feel like, oh, yeah, I gotta go to the gym. How many times have you heard yourself say, yeah, I gotta go to the gym, or yeah, I have to do my program today. And so you do that because it feels forced, because you're trying to function off pure grit and motivation. Where what we need to do is we need to shift our language and our identity. So our goal setter, our conscious mind, and our goal getter need to come together in alignment. So the way that they do that is a couple different things. So it's one, learning where our identity is now, like who am I? What is my identity versus who do I want to be? And then being able to bridge the gap between who I am and who I'm becoming, and essentially who we show up as. Does that make sense? Is that for everyone? Can you feel that when you're trying to function off pure motivation and you give up and I just can't do it anymore. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And then, I saw someone put like, my gym is flooded with older people and it's so inspirational to watch. And I bet if you talk to those older people, one of the things that they would tell you is they don't go because they're away motivated. I don't want to be tired all the time. They go because there's someone who chooses energy every day. They go because they're a person who feels strong and confident in their body. So, can you feel the difference between I don't want to feel fragile and I'm a person who feels strong and confidence in my body? Like it just feels different. You're saying almost the same thing, but one's coming from a place of like fear and need of I have to do something better. I can't be like this all the time. Oh, something's gotta change, to a place of excitement. Like, all right, I got this, right? Like, I got this. Why do I got this? Why are you seeing all these older people in the gym? Why are you seeing people who are motivating and kicking butt in their 80s and 90s and hopefully well into their hundreds, right? It's because that's who they are. And that's something really powerful. So, you know, there's different stories, that I can tell you. So I live in a community where it's mainly older people. So one of my best friends, I go and have tea and fruit with her every Thursday night. She's 95 years old. Okay. And I love spending time with her. And people are like, is she really 95? I'm like, not only is she 95, but this woman stays up later than me. She can hit a golf ball way better than I can. And she's just an overall rock star. But she's not thriving because of luck. Just like those people in your gym, she's not thriving because of luck. Just because you, same as you, she's thriving because her identity is I'm somebody who takes care of myself daily. And I honestly, it's actually inspired me. And I'm pretty routine and consistent as a person. And even me watching her, I went home one day and I was like, oh, I want like my nighttime routine to be like her nighttime routine because she does the same thing, right? It's consistent. It's not because she does it because she's motivated to do it. She does it because that's who she is. So, Robbie, did you want to do some examples together?
Yes, I would love to do some examples together. And one of the things, if I can reflect on what you were just sharing, Ritza, is I don't think I've ever seen anyone become fit who's focused on the result. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen anyone become massively successful in anything that's focused on the result.
No, they haven't. And
Like,
I,
like, I don't think Jeff Bezos built Amazon because he was only focused, he was like passionate about selling books. And he's like, I want to make this difference. The internet is booming and I want to make that happen. And for me in fitness, then thousands of people I've worked with, they find ways to enjoy the exercise. And not everyone, and I think one of the big things that happens is the fitness industry is notorious for this. And they make exercise like you have to be a perfect physical specimen, and we're going to do high intensity training and all this stuff that's, yeah, there's a place. Yeah, there's even some health benefits, but there's a whole lot of negative risks to it, both in mind and body based on approaches. So the thing that I found is like, find your comfortable action that you can feel good about self and is rewarding, that makes you want to do it again and again, and combine yourself with others that are thinking like this. So the gentleman that posted, I think it was gentleman that posted in the chat talking about, like, in his gym, they have many people who are more experienced, which is the word I like to use, the experienced in life. And so they feel emotionally, energetically connected, right? So we have mirror neurons, we have connection with others. So if you hold that energy that you like to take in action and you start combining it with others, so that's one of the things we do in the VIP family is we combine the environment and then the comfort and then reward all of the actions so that you really feel like very, very protected by that process. And you feel good and it works for you personally. Yes, let's go on to.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I just want to comment real quickly on that because a win is a win, right? If you go from doing nothing, like, and all of a sudden you go into the gym with those typical trainers that are at the local gyms. I'm not going to say any names, but that are at the local gyms. Like, I'll see people who maybe are less experienced in the gym and it's their first time going there. And the trainers do the same thing. The first thing that they do is they get you in and they make you run on the treadmill. They make you run a mile, at least in my experience. They make you run a mile. Then the next thing that they do is they have you do these jump squats. And by the end of the first workout, it's so, in my opinion, demotivating and sometimes humiliating if you've just come back from an injury. Maybe it's your first time in because maybe you feel like I can't do all these things. And maybe physically you're not at the level that you can do that. And yeah, hurt my shoulders doing burpees. Absolutely. Like, you're doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. And that's one of the great things that I love about this program is that it creates a container for success. You know, we're not just talking about getting in the right mindset. We're not just talking about making sure that the exercises are protecting you just mentally and physically, but also creating a container of success within the community that is supportive and understanding to know where you are so that you can begin to have and see that success. And like I said, it's about bridging that gap. And it's not about saying, maybe your goal is to do a bodybuilding competition. Awesome. You know, and who that person is to do that bodybuilding competition. But maybe your goal is, hey, I just want to be able to play with my grandkids without feeling winded. Or I want to be able to walk without my walker and do the things that I can do. And not about being 20 again, not about it's about being the best version of you at this stage in your life, mentally and physically, so that when you show up, that confidence just, whew, I mean, that identity, that confidence, it's just everybody.
The amazing thing about what you're saying is I've trained many in a previous life. I've trained a lot of on-stage competitors and elite professional athletes, and it was fun. I love seeing transformations. But there's nothing like restoring someone's health span and helping them to live longer and connect with their family and enable them to do all the things they love to do and even improve regardless of age. And as my good friend Joel Weldon says, you're not getting older, you're getting better. And so when we can make that happen, believe me, I've been there. I've been there. I've been on the stage. I've been there to get the person the trophy, and it's not nearly as rewarding as knowing that someone's living more life. In fact, there's a lot of negatives that come from that world, by the way. I don't see any negatives that are coming from this world. So let's get into the examples that transform their mind to even more results.
Let's lock it in. Okay. So I want you to take a moment, and you can write this in the chat or you can write it on a piece of paper, whatever feels most comfortable for you in this moment. And I want you to write down one away statement that you've said before. An example could be, I don't want to lose my independence, or I want to lose weight. So what is one, and I'll give you a minute, one away statement that you have?
Can you give us a little bit, just so everyone has 100% clarity, a little more context? What is an away statement? Like, how would you define? I think most get it, but even greater clarity.
So, thank you. So an away statement would be, I don't want to be tired all the time. It's something that you think is going to get you results if you don't have it any longer. So, I don't want to be tired. I don't want to feel fragile. Um, Another one, I don't want to lose my independence. I want to lose weight. I don't want to be fat anymore. Um, I don't want to be in pain all the time. Does that help?
Yes, helps a lot.
I don't want to be injured. I don't want to lose my independence. Yes. I don't want to be tired and sore. I don't want to be overweight. So now think about this. These are things that you've said to yourself. Now, when you're saying these things to yourself, you are again hypnotizing yourself and then reinforcing that away in that conscious mind identity, right? You're enforcing that conscious and subconscious identity. And you're creating more of what you don't want instead of more of what you want. So now take a moment, take a breath. Because I know you've been doing this for a long time, reinforcing all of that negativity that you didn't even realize was negative. And this next process might feel a bit uneasy. Remember, our nervous system is going to be, she's asking us to do something different. Tell yourself, I'm safe with Maritza. I'm safe with Maritza. She would never do anything to hurt me because I wouldn't, right? And Robbie wouldn't bring somebody on here that was mean. So tell yourself, I'm safe with Maritza. She would never do anything to hurt me or ask me to do anything that would compromise me. And I want you to flip your statement. Take a deep breath. Look at your statement that you just wrote down. And I want you to create a towards identity with that statement. Those tears is releasing. It's releasing, right? We're opening up the body. We're opening up the heart. We're letting go of the pieces that you've been holding on to that you thought were keeping you safe. And maybe it's, I am becoming someone who feels capable. Try that on. I am somebody who is confident. I move with effortless ease.
I enjoy fill in the blank. There's something about exercise you enjoy. There's something, even for those who don't really like exercise, right?
Yeah. Or even Robbie, let's take it a step further. Not the exercise that they enjoy, but what it does for them. I enjoy throwing my grandkids up in the air with ease. I enjoy showing up for Robbie with a big smile on my face and tons of energy.
I enjoy feeling physically functional. I enjoy being able to move. I enjoy the actual capabilities of doing that.
Now I want you to read it to yourself out loud. I know you're on mute. It's okay. I want you to speak it at a volume. So we're going to do something. So take a breath. If you're sitting, place your feet on the floor. You can't see me, but I'm a little short, so my feet don't always touch the floor. So if you're sitting, get your feet on the floor. Feel that earth beneath your toes. If you're standing, that's fine too. If you feel better standing, however it feels good. Get your hands in a power position. Maybe it's a fist, maybe it's up here, maybe it's down here, like a Wonder Woman or a Superman. And this is part of the bioenergetics part, right? The mind-body connection, right? Here we are encompassing our body, our breath, the movement, and the words that we're going to say. And we are going to scream or yell or at whatever volume we feel good at, are towards motivated, saying, take a deep breath. Shoulders up, chest open. And it's however you feel comfortable. You don't need to see me. It's however you feel good. And I want you to say that new thing together. And it's whatever it is for you. I crave the feeling after I've been moving and exercise. Yeah, that's right. I'm becoming somebody totally confident and always enjoy being able-bodied. Breathe that in. Allow that to soak in to every cell. And hold on to it. Take a couple more breaths. Shake it out. How does that feel? How does that feel for you right now? Does it feel different? How much different does it feel for you now that you've gone through that exercise, knowing that just shifting, that little shift, that energy? And what if you started to practice that in every area of your life? That when you get up, the first thing that you do is you empower yourself. This is who I am. I'm somebody who shows up for me. Yeah, and the statement can be in present. It can be in present, it can be in future. I would say present, right? That is who we are, right? We're assuming the new identity as if now. We are embodying in our body, creating a sense of strength and resilience.
And I would add to that, when you do that neurobiomechanically, what's happening is you're calming your nervous system, and so your body runs through neuroendocrine, so neurological and chemical system. You're changing your body chemistry, and your nerves respond to that and take signals. And then it starts figuring out how to make those things true. It's not just in your actions, it's actually in your physiological actions too, through your neurochemistry. So you literally change your bioenergetics through what you just did with Dr. Maritza. So I would encourage each of you to find the statement that you most connected with and really felt good, and do that every night. Say that to yourself, and say that to yourself every morning. Just that. Just for the next week, and see how it feels. And if it's working, stay doing it.
Yeah, try it on. Listen, mindset, identity, it can be like your favorite pair of clothing or not. Like it's trying it on. It's seeing how it fits and seeing what works best for you. And if you noticed a little bit of resistance going in, a little bit of tears, a little bit of fear, a little bit of maybe I'm not ready and I don't know, that's okay. That's your nervous system. That's your nervous system. That's resistance. It's not failure, right? Nothing that you're experiencing is going to be failure, right? I don't believe in failure. We don't believe in failure. We believe in feedback, right? It's just more data. Okay, great. Perfect. I got data. I can work with data. I can't work with failure, right? You can work with data. You can work with feedback, because what the feedback tells you is, wow, I thought the whole time, and it's good feedback, right? Like, oh, I thought the whole time I just was hiring terrible trainers, or I was in this wrong program. And really, then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, the problem was right here. It was underneath my hat the whole time, right? It was right here because I was embodying that of a person who was so afraid of becoming the person that I'm trying to become, because of the identity that was so rooted in fear, so rooted in failure, that it was not allowing me to succeed.
So we think it, and then we attach emotion to it. So therefore we feel it. We think it, then we feel it, and then we live it. So everything in life happens twice. First in your mind, and second in your physiology and your physical actions, which is kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
your internal physiology and then your external physicalology.
Yeah.
So think it, feel it, and then live it. And anything you want to adjust or improve, what are you thinking? Analyze it. Is it a away statement that's taking you to a negative place, or is it a towards statement that's actually going to help you? And one of the big things that I find is like my mom, who's in this session, who I've been trying to help for years and years and years. Now I'm going to get personal, which I've been known to do. So she has a lot of away statements, a lot of away statements. And one day I asked her, I said, hey, what's that going to do for you? Tell me one thing that away statement's actually really going to do for you positively. And I'll just jump on that away bandwagon with you. Like I'll just go negative with you. And she can't. She can't. Like it's your subconscious wants to stay familiar because that's the story you've been telling yourself. So change, as Dr. Meretza shared, can be fear, a little fear of gain. You can feel fear, right? And so it makes you not want to move forward. But if you can see the reality of that, then you understand you have a choice to think and attach the emotion the way you want, and therefore have the results and outcomes, and it will change. You will change. You will get better results no matter what you're doing. You will get better results. And then if you have the right actions like our VIPs do, and then you have the right mindset and emotions, you're going to live the most functional life you possibly can and have the highest quality of life you possibly can. The more you think it, feel it, and therefore live it, the better results you're going to have.
Well, and that's the resiliency, right? Like it's understanding resistance isn't the enemy. You know, if you have been in a cycle or a pattern of not getting the results, like again, like I said, don't take that as Robbie's mom, you know, like I love that you shared that because she's here, right? So she's still showing up, right? Even when you feel resistant, maybe even when you don't want to, like, you know, keep showing up and notice every time you feel resistant, every time you say to yourself, oh, this feels scary, or I don't want to do this, or I just don't, I don't see the point, right? I don't see the point. What's the point? That's just your nervous system doing its job. Say, thank you. Okay. You're working. I appreciate it. Take that away message that you're giving to yourself. Remind it you're stuck in that old story and I don't live there anymore, right? You wouldn't go to your old house every day and start banging on the door and ask to use the bathroom or to go cook in the kitchen because you don't live there anymore. So that's your old identity. You don't need to go there anymore. You don't live there anymore. Where you are is right here and right now. And if you're confused at where you are, I would say, look at your feet. That's where you are right here and right now. Focus on what you can do right now. And what you can do right now is start to shift that mind to building that towards identity so that it builds that safety so it can then open the door to lasting change because your mind is the container, right? That's where the success is. And because your mind is the container, when your nervous system feels safe, when your subconscious mind starts to believe the story, your body will follow. Think it, feel it, live it.
So what if you're 70, what if you're 80 and you've been thinking another way like all these years? What's the psychological research show in terms of neuroplasticity and how we can change our physiology? Is it too late, Dr. Meretza?
You know what? Actually, so I didn't bring up, so I specialize in neuroplasticity, right? I do neurofeedback with a lot of my clients to help them with passive training and to rebuild those neurons and those neural connections. And guess what? You can build new neural networks, new neural pathways. You can increase the plasticity at any age. You are not too young. You are not too old. Wherever you are is perfect to start making the changes and shifts in your life that last.
Before we go forward, for those of you who are not VIPs, if you would like to learn about becoming a VIP, if you would like to have us analyze your body mechanics in a private consultation and learn about how we can work with you personally, Patricia's going to drop a link into the chat. You can find a link there where you have a special discounted offer to be able to attend a private consultation with one of our best clinical experts and a VIP care coordinator. And we can have personalized discussions there if you'd like some help. Just wanted to extend that opportunity to those of you who are not yet VIPs. Maritza, and again, that opportunity is in the chat. So if you click on the chat, you're not a VIP, you can find that special consultation. If you're already a VIP, you meet with us whenever you want anyway for all of that. So we're there for you, of course, VIPs. But for those of you who are not VIPs, that opportunity is there for you. It says schedule your private consultation here. And Dr. Maritza, where would you like to go next to help our wonderful cherished people here with us?
Yes. So if you have any questions, if you want to schedule that consultation, just let us know, because we are also going to be creating, right, a program especially for them all around the mindset. Right, Robbie?
Yeah, we have. I want to continue deeper into our material, but I'll share some interesting things that are coming up. So we're designing a whole new training system for our VIPs that are just going to include, for lack of a better term, you can help us tell. Actually, I would love your input. This is like perfect market research. I would call it personal development psychology. Do you see it being named something different? For us, it's mind, energy, and emotions, personal development psychology. You can call it whatever you want. We call it everything begins with your mind. And so we're going to start helping our VIPs on a deeper level in their mind and developing training systems and meditations, subconscious retraining to help improve your physiology and the way you think and feel and function in this life. So we're going to be developing, we're already researching, developing right now. It's going to be launched next year. All of our VIPs will have access to it. It'll be primarily in the starting version of what we do for VIPs because it's the most important first step is to sense and feel and become aware and mindset. So we're actually adding that to our systems, but all VIPs would have access to that. So just some interesting updates for you VIPs and for those of you who aren't or might be interested in that. And let's go on though, Maritza, to our next section. Do you want to go? Did we complete the exercises that you want to do in this session, or is there anything else that you want to dive into?
Yeah, so that was one of the exercises. And then let's just go ahead and create another exercise that we're going to do. So you did your away motivation and you did your towards motivation, right? So I want you to close your eyes and start to think of who this person is that you're going to start to show up as, right? So the person who has the identity. So if you can think about that person, go ahead and you can give it a name. You can give it a picture. You can give it a sound. But I want you to really, really, really just picture this person. I want you to notice how they walk, how they talk, how they breathe. I want you to notice what's important to them. And I want you to really begin to believe in this version of this person. I want you to see what you see, feel what you feel, hear what you hear. I want you to notice that anything that is the version of you right now, before you step into this new identity, that is conflicting. Notice any thoughts that need to shift. Notice any behavior that needs to shift. Any words that you speak, any habits that you have, any patterns that you've created. And I want you to see as they begin to transition and the two images begin to merge together as one becoming the other. Take a deep breath. Feel into this version of you. Feel your hands in that position. Feel your breath, how it shifts. Feel the airiness. Feel the weight of the body. Notice anything that still feels uncomfortable or stuck in the other identity. And also begin to shift and transition that. Repeat to yourself, I am safe. I am aware. I am resilient. I am thriving. I am becoming. I am. I am the version of me that I always needed to be. And just deepening to there. And when you're ready, slow the breath. And open your eyes when you're ready. And notice how that feels different now. Notice how you may have gotten a little emotional again as you step into this new identity. Notice any times that, again, you started to become a bit resistant. You know, they say that it takes 21 days to create a habit. It's actually between 21 and 66. But it's not just about the days it takes to become a habit. It's how often you attach that habit with that identity of who you're becoming, right? Because if I attach that habit with the wrong identity, if I'm trying to quit smoking, but every morning I wake up and identify as a smoker, right? We want to attach this new habit, this new lifestyle, this new being with this new identity, the identity habit integration, right? And what we were just doing there is we're bridging the gap between who we are and who we're becoming, and noticing the differences, noticing what old you had that wasn't productive for new you. You know, old you gets tired and quits because they're like, ugh, tired, had enough today. Whereas new you is like, I am a vibrant, healthy individual and I got this, right? Creating a new identity. I'm simpler, clearer, more present, more alive. Yes, you are. Claim that, because now what you start to claim as your identity is how you're going to start to show up. You know, and be aware that your identity may make other people uncomfortable. And that's why we lean into community. And that's why I keep saying, you know, the Fitness Doctor, Robbie, the team at the Fitness Doctor is your container for success. It's the community that has been shaped by you in love to support you in this process as you're becoming, you know, and nobody's expecting you to never make a mistake. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect every day. But what the expectation is for you, and it should be for yourself as well, is that, wow, when I notice, right, get curious with yourself, when I notice that I begin to do X, Y, and Z, it's because of this, right? It's that feedback journal for yourself. Noticing the feedback, noticing the data that's present, noticing when you're not in your new identity. You know, every night before bed, I actually have a feedback journal. It's not like, you know how people have like journals that they write in, so which are great. You can have one of those, but I just never knew what to write. I'm like, ugh. So what I started doing is I started doing a feedback journal of how I could become a better person every day, right? So I would write down things that I did and things that I didn't do. I'd be like, wow, I saw a piece of trash on the floor. I should have picked it up, right? But I didn't. And I gave myself an excuse. Oh, I'm busy. I don't have time for that right now. So think about how you can improve. And it's these micro changes, right? Like these micro shifts, they matter. right? You didn't get to where you are by one day, all of a sudden, everything just changed. It was a lot of little micro things. Now, maybe you did have a major injury. Maybe you had an accident like I had, which is a major injury. But if my mindset was where it needed to be prior to that accident, I would have done a lot better a lot sooner, right? So it was my mindset first that was poor, right? Because you don't see how you show up till all of a sudden things aren't all hunky dory, right? You don't see where you need to show up a better version. You might have always been healthy and strong, and then all of a sudden you got older and now you fell into that identity of, well, I'm just old now. Whereas Robbie says, right, we're not getting older, we're getting better, right? And that's what you're doing. So, falling into that and making sure that you're creating those new neural pathways, that you're creating those new connections, because every thought we're a psychocybernetic system, right? So every thought creates a biological response. And when we start to respond to things in our body, the mind essentially took us there first. And then it's just showing up after the fact. And so now we're paying attention. We have a habit of paying attention to the physical stuff that shows up a lot more than we pay attention to the mental stuff. So then we sit there and we say, oh, well, I'm wondering why all of a sudden this is happening, but we hadn't been paying attention to the mental stuff that took us to the physical stuff. So this is why when Robbie's saying, practice the identity, practice the standing in the position in the morning and in the night, practice associating. So we're going to call it associating, right? Is when you go into something, we're associating ourselves into the new identity, and we're disassociating ourselves. So we're taking ourselves out of that old identity, right? Because we want to break that connection, because we've been stuck to it for a really long time. So this is your opportunity to start creating that shift, right? That mental, physical, emotional shift. And that's how we get it to stick. Robbie.
That is a wrap. It's been absolutely a wonderful connecting with each of you here in our session with Dr. Maritza. Dr. Maritza, anything you'd like to share before we exit?
I just want to thank you for coming today and for pouring into yourself and to the other members of your community. And remember, when you think it, you feel it, and then you start to be it, start to live it, is so important. So keep pouring into yourself, keep practicing those tools that you learned, and notice how much better you feel every single day. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Lots of love. We'll see you soon.